welcome to another Keelhauled podcast. I'm your host, Captain Logan, and we've got a lot of Sea of Thieves news to cover today, so tie yourselves to the mast and hold fast. Ahoy there, pirates. I hope you had yourselves a good weekend. I know I did. This week has been the Community Day event. We've got the Gold Hoarders. We're going to be talking about the news that came out this week. In part, there was a lot of information, a roadmap that was discovered with the dev team coming out and talking about 2022 in the preview. And as much as I would love to dive into that, the biggest news in two parts is one that we will probably talk about next weekend. I've got a special guest that I'm working to schedule there. And then the other one was Arena. We got some news that talks about the fact that Arena is getting deleted. Finally. I know I'm a little shocked myself, but you would not believe the amount of discussion and frustration and emotions that were going around on the internet this week as we found out that Arena is going to be removed from Sea of Thieves. So this week we're going to be talking with the Gold Hoarders. We have some new faces, some folks that didn't make it that are the regulars. We had a really good discussion about it. It's a nice chat about what can be done, how we feel about it, the overall sentiment from Arena and how that's going. So that's the majority of this episode. Next week, I'm hoping that with the guests that I'm lining up, we're going to be able to talk about the announcements that came in, as well as some of the things that were going on with this Community Day event, because the Community Day event unfortunately didn't go as smoothly as planned. There were a lot of issues with servers, matchmaking, being able to hear each other with voice comms, things like that. A lot of stress and a lot of issues going on. But overall, the test of the system itself worked out well. The promotion went on well. A lot of people were able to get hats. The glorious hat, the hat that is given to those who are prominent members of the community, were able to get hats this weekend. I was able to get a hat this weekend. You guys nominated me and I was able to get it my hat, my glorious hat. It looks amazing. I'm really happy that I have it. So thank you to everyone who nominated me for that. And thank you to the team at Rare for bestowing it upon me. It was really great to have. But aside from that, a lot of folks were really bummed out that they didn't get to sail on Sunday. It was a shame that the servers were having issues. I think that they're going to work really hard to try and make sure that the next time we do a community event, that this isn't nearly as hard of an issue for people to work on, that people will be able to play the game, get in, log in with friends and have a good time. Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully they are able to take the analytics from this, spend a couple months working on how to prepare for it for the next community event, because this is going to be an ongoing thing, we found out, thanks to the roadmap. And I'll dive into that more next week, but as we get into this week, it was really great to see the community come out in full force, even with the issues that we were having with strawberry beards. People were making fun of it, coming up with fun cosmetics for it, shanties, Order of Souls for captains called Captain Strawberry Beard, all kinds of really ingenious things. I got to do a bit of streaming and put together some pirate Lego stuff for folks and just have a good time in general. But the conversation you're going to be listening to now, that is with the Gold Hoarders. We had a really good conversation. It was really cool to get to talk to them and to get their feelings on stuff. There are a couple things that I bleeped out just for the sake of trying to keep it kid friendly. Things that just slipped because, man, tell you, emotions were running pretty strong, and you'll kind of hear my thoughts on it and my feelings on it. I've joked a lot about Arena in the past, but you'll kind of get a better gauge on why I feel the way I do and why things have been going. But before I get into the episode for that, let's talk a little bit about achievements after I give some love to the patrons. Well, it would not be an episode if it wasn't for the patrons. They are the ones heading over to patreon.com/Keelhauled podcast to show their support in supporting me with this episode. So thank you to El Cute, Captain Hasco, Chateau Neuf, Cloud, Cosmic Johnson, Davram TV, El Jefe Esteban, Trickster, Jabaro5, Kazia the Rogue, King Flameheart, Lumpy SRQ, Okarian Darth, Dub Goose, Evil Morpheus, Xbox Mike 29, Munchie, Registella, Russ Bell Kid, Savage Hamster, Norwegian, TN Professor, Real Big Tuna, Uriel Keynes, Big Bad Pad, Mina Fairy, Brian D, Super Pack, Music Me, The Lore Chronologist, Deadeye Dre, Fergatron, Murphy Lives, Neon, Evil Martha, Peter Miller, Rooski Doo, Skinny Matt, Straw Hat Connor, Thor Von Blitz, Windsor Chris, and Zam. Wow. Thank you all to the 41 of you who are supporting me. Thank you so much for the work that you do, the love that you give me, and it really does help out. The funds are now going to be funneled into the Sea of Thieves Fest. I'm going to be trying to get over to England this summer if that works out, and I can get my passport and all the good jazz. This will help get me over there. So if you're going to be over in England, then I will hopefully get a chance to actually go visit you. I'm going to see if I can actually take like a whole week off. And my wife will probably be staying home. So I will probably be, she'll be taking care of the kitties. I will be traveling abroad. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully things are safe enough to do that in the future. But that is what I'm planning on doing with the podcast funding stuff for now. I'm working on adding some new colors to some of the merchandise that's over on spring.com, I think is what the website is. And I think that's it for now. But thank you so much to those that are supporting. I get your messages all the time, and it means the world to me. I love chatting with you through Patreon. I have a lot of messages with a lot of folks as we kind of work out the names and how to pronounce them and stuff, to make sure that you guys are getting getting your name said right. So hopefully I said your names right. I'm pretty sure I got it. I think Uriel Keynes was the one that I was potentially messing up on, and of course Okarian Darth, or Orkarian Darth. Or I really wish I had like a good, I could hear it. If I could hear it, then I would feel better about it. But I know I can't. You can't leave me a voice message, so we'll figure that out. But anyway, let's get into the episode. So I brought this up a little bit when we were talking about the intro, and I wanted to touch on this because there's a bit of a question behind what happens when Arena gets deleted to all of the achievements that are available for it. There's a handful of those that you can earn, and you'll have some time to be able to earn those, but during that time, after which you will not be able to earn those specific achievements. So the question comes in is what happens to those Sea Dog achievements once Arena is gone? How do you deal with that? So thanks to one of my friends, Kylia, she did some digging because she was familiar with this based on how much achievement hunting that she does, and she found some information thanks to the Microsoft docs on their website that talk a little bit about achievements, names, and descriptions, things that you must understand when it comes to making achievements for games. So these are just some of the things that you should know about when you're going into this. So things like a single achievement cannot exceed 200 gamer score for all, and all achievements in the title must be achievable. Titles that offer Xbox Live achievements must provide the required number of achievements and their associated gamer score at launch. Titles are permitted to, by titles they mean games, are permitted to add achievements or gamer score at any time after launch with or without corresponding new content, but they cannot exceed title-based or calendar-based limits. So there's certain limits that they can add. So if they add 1,000 gamer score at launch, additional ones cannot exceed more than 1,000 afterwards, and they can only go up to 5,000. So for example, Sea of Thieves is over 3,000 gamer score right now, so they're getting close to that end before they can add more achievements. So what happens when you are looking at a title that changes those requirements? So here it says in this section, titles must provide a way for all users to earn all achievements defined by the base title without being required to purchase additional in-title content. So when a game comes out, you should be able to earn all of the base achievements for that without having to purchase anything extra. Games must not allow gamers to earn achievements by simply making purchases. For titles that have any achievement that unlocks based on a real money purchase, the achievement must also be unlockable through in-title or in-game activities or in-game currency that was earned through in-game activities. Let's see. Achievements must not be shared across titles. when a single title or when a single game is supported across different platforms by using the same game ID, a title must share the same set of achievements and can, at their description, have platform-specific achievements. Some of the things that would pertain to the removal of Arena is the modifying active achievement, which is the XR060 note in this policy that says, after an achievement has been published to gamers, it cannot be removed, nor can its unlocked rules or rewards be changed. Achievement text, string, the name and description, or the icons and backgrounds can be modified. So basically what's going to happen here is something that happened in Destiny when they removed a lot of the game content. Specifically, Leviathan Raid was removed, and achievements that were tied to that were adjusted so that instead of having to complete Leviathan, then you had to work on some Grandmaster strikes. And for those of you that don't play Destiny, basically what that means is any of the commendations that are tied to Arena will most likely not be removed, but will be adjusted to reflect something different in the game, something that is still achievable, but through adventure. We won't know what those are until the mode actually gets replaced, because at that time they will probably have to republish the achievements that were tied to Arena as something different, and we will find out what those are, and those will become achievable. So if you're missing out on achievements for Arena right now, and you're worried about that gamer score, there's a good chance that those achievements won't get removed unless Rare uses a loophole that is tied to the fact that Arena was added to the game after its launch. There are concessions that allow you to remove achievements if they are not considered the base game. Things like that, I think, are tough. I think it would be better suited for them just to change the requirements of the Arena achievements, much in the same way that I completed the Leviathan raid when it was made available. I earned those achievements, but now if I go look through some of those achievements, some of them are unlocked based on stuff that I did, some of them aren't. So they can't take that away from you, but they can change the description of them and the requirements for them. They still need to be achieved, but if you have them, chances are you will still have them, but they may change what they are actually for, and it may not reflect Arena after that. So I'm glad we got a chance to kind of dive into this. We're going to dive into the actual episode where we talk about our feelings in Arena. Hopefully you guys enjoy this episode of the Gold Hoarders. It was nice to get a chance to sit down and talk with them, and I'm looking forward to diving into more of the announcements that came in next week's episode. Welcome everyone to the community episode of the Gold Hoarders. We have some new faces in here, some new voices, I guess would be a better way to do that. But we do have the regs as well. Unfortunately, some of us weren't able to make it, whether they were just rusty or they lost power. And with that, we'll kind of supplant them with some new voices that I'm happy to see joining up and having some good conversation. We've got a lot to talk about actually this week. It's kind of crazy, the amount of news. So we'll try to touch on the overall emotions for this, and then I'll probably do some deep dives into the lore, the predictions, things like that in another episode coming up. So that way I don't monopolize anyone's time. I want to make sure I get everyone's feelings on what's going on, because there was some big news. And with that, we're going to be kind of breaking down a little bit about what happened, just to kind of kick things off to set a basis. We got a preview for 2022 from Rare on Thursday. It was pretty surprising to actually see them put out a video, and not just a video, but a roadmap and kind of a discussion based on everything that they have planned for 2022. I was not expecting this at all. So to kind of get things started, let's break down who's with us today, and then we'll kind of get some feelings overall on that. So first off, Hefe, I know you're occupied, but welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, sir.
Awesome. We've also got Evil Morpheus joining us, a new voice, but a longtime patron. Morpheus, how you doing? Welcome.
I'm doing good, Captain Logan.
Awesome. We've also got a new voice, Mutinous Max. Welcome. And Norwegian with us too.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Excellent. Regis Stella joining us as always. How are you?
As always, now this is my 1 year anniversary of being on this podcast.
I know, it's crazy. You were mentioning that earlier, that this was the first anniversary of us doing the community episode. So really nice to kind of see that kind of come full circle.
Yeah, what goes around comes around, I guess.
Very true. We also have TM Professor. Welcome back.
Ahoy.
Ahoy. Big Bad Pad joining us as well. Xbox Mike 29. How you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Pat, are you actually there? What happened? Pat will come back, I'm sure.
It's probably the app he's using, having just said it worked.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So for those that don't know, he is currently on his Xbox, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah. He's using Quarrel on the Xbox.
Yeah. So we'll see how that works out. Hopefully he'll make it in. Kind of breaking down a little bit about what's going on. Let's dive into the biggest news, which I think is really kind of on everyone's mind. Let's talk about Arena being deleted. This is something I've been asking for a long time. I'll be diving a little bit more into this in the future, but we found out on Thursday that anyone who had hit rank 5 was able to get all of the cosmetics, the 5 different ship sets from Arena, stuff that had been coveted for a long time by the community, ones that we'd wanted to have kind of, for our own goods. But for everyone that hit rank 5, you get those. For anyone that hit rank 50, you get the Good Boy sales in chipset, which is kind of a way of promoting or rewarding the dedicated groups out there that focused on Arena or bought their levels prior. So kind of a real mixed bag. In fact, this is something that actually really kind of hit hard with the community. Many people were upset because they were just, I've never known the general number for people that were at 49 for Arena until that day. Was anyone surprised at this? Like, let's get some general feelings. Let's start off with some of the new folks. Morpheus, when you heard the news, what was it? What were you feeling when you hit that?
I was generally disappointed and surprised because of the fact that there's achievements, accommodations, you name it, things that they're going to take out of the game that you can no longer get anymore. And that makes me, generally sad. But on the other hand, I know why they did it.
Yeah.
No, I know why they did it.
Max, did you have any feelings about that? How are you approaching Arena?
Yeah, I kind of saw it coming from last year. They discontinued it, so it kind of saw it coming. But what my big question is, how is the lore going to tie into this? Because Arena has lore in the game.
That's true. We hadn't really thought about that. I imagine there's a lot of little things that tie into a lot of the pictures and stuff that are in Arena that we won't get to actually see until maybe they put those on the outside of the Sea Dog Tavern. It's a real good question, though. Kind of moving on, though, Norwegian, when you heard the news, was this something that impacted you? How did you feel?
Felt pretty sad to lose the achievements and just the general gameplay. It's never a good thing when you lose stuff, but at the end of the day, if it's great that we can get more support for the main game, I'm happy for it.
True. Did anyone have any? I want to offer it up to the regulars. Anyone have any big feelings that they wanted to share before we jump a little bit more?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you said that the people who worked hard and got rewarded for hitting level 50, but you missed out the people who decided to waste not waste, but use a whole lot of their doubloons before they shut down being able to buy multiple levels in 1 month and bought level 50 like I did. Because I knew I was never going to get to level 50 on my own. So I just bought my way up to level 50. So I'll be looking forward to my rewards.
Yeah, same here. I didn't buy that many levels. I bought enough to get to a certain point, but then I kind of stayed on top of those letters of recommendation when they came out. Professor, I know you had some feelings on this. What were your thoughts?
As the only individual who has professed love for Arena, despite Logan, anything you've said, I'm sad to see it go. I understand they made a business decision, and based off of that, it wasn't a surprise. After announcing they were going to discontinue it, continually making the join button smaller and smaller on the screen, and some other things, I could see it coming a year off. for everyone who didn't get in there and enjoy the awesomeness of Arena, you can walk the plank. Us 2% got the rewards and the commendations and the ship sets, and I don't want to hear any whining anymore. I do feel a bit sorry for those that were almost there, who were in there trying, but we got what we deserved with only 2% of the community accessing it, and I'm a bit salty with all the whining that's been going on from people who claimed that this hurts, but had never actually been in Arena to earn anything. So, thinking about the lore, I hope maybe this will free up the characters to come in and be involved somewhere else in adventure. I think Caleb did mention something about maybe opening up the tavern so people can go in and walk around in the tavern. Let the tavern be a silent memorial to all of us salty sea dogs. But I do not, unlike many arguments that I've had with Chenzo, want to see Arena crammed into the adventure side. It's dead. It's gone. Let it be dead. Let's shoot Old Yeller and be done with it.
Old Yeller was a good boy. I do want to. You guys bring up some really good key points that I want to jump into. You mentioned 2%. So there was a post that came out from Joe Neat talking about Arena and saying goodbye. Many people may be wondering kind of why this is actually happening. And thanks to Mike, was it you that was saying it in Tavern Talk, or was it Chenzo? I think it might have been Chenzo who was talking in the Discord about how Sea of Thieves had a separate team that was actually developing Arena when it was originally done. And because of that, it was, easier to offload that workload onto that separate team to actually focus on that. The trouble with it is when that team moved on, they stopped actually working on that thing. All of that responsibility fell onto the original team that was in this constant workload of building out adventure, working on adventure. So when you run into a situation where the group that is already working on content, they already have their workflow, and they're trying to get content out for adventure, and you offload all of the Arena designs and stuff like that onto that team, that makes it exceptionally difficult for that team to continue putting out the quality that they are with Sea of Thieves in general. That's, if you guys remember, they tried to do this with monthly content, and it kept falling behind and behind and behind. And you start to notice when they say that they're going to stop developing for Arena, it's probably due to the fact that the teams that are there don't have the bandwidth available to be able to continue focusing on Arena. And at that point, when you have this separate mode from adventure, and you're trying to balance weapons, you're trying to balance stuff for that, Arena is going to get neglected because it just doesn't have that dedicated team anymore. So Joe put out the post and said that 2% of the player base were the ones that had spent their time in Arena on a consistent basis. A lot of that really comes down to the NAL or I just blanked on what was the other one. Sea of Champions who were doing it. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Oh, that's right. Evil Monkey was the one that mentioned the outside development team. Thanks, Pad. I know you're listening. He's having trouble having the app work so that he can actually speak with us. So I'll try and relay any of his messages from the chat. But with the 2% grow, or the 2% of the teams working on that, a lot of outcry came from people both on the Discords, on Reddit, as well as Twitter, many places where people were very upset that Arena was getting deleted. And at this point, I gotta say, I'm with you, Professor. If people were this passionate about Arena, then why wasn't Arena more popular? It seems like that should have been a lot stronger of a drive. Where the activity is where the team's going to focus development. And if the team doesn't see the activity and they make the choice to discontinue development, that right there should have been the indicator. In Norwegian, I think it was you, or was it Max, that were talking about how you kind of saw this coming?
Yeah, I saw it.
I believe that was Max.
Okay.
That was me.
Yeah, so you kind of saw the writing on the wall, right?
Kind of like last year they discontinued it. Then the button shrank, and they didn't like update issues in the game, like the beacon of the chest didn't track. So it's like, yeah, they neglected the entire game mode. So I saw it coming,
Wow.
basically.
Yeah.
To me, probably one of the biggest misses with that is you had a vehicle where you could get in and get out in 20 minutes and enjoy Sea of Thieves a little bit on your lunch break. And it's where I learned my shipmanship and my combat skills. You could hone it on a very simple basis and a repeat that you don't really have within the game. You've invested so much time in supplying a ship, finding other ships to fight. Arena gave you a place to just focus on practicing ship combat and hand-to-hand combat, and now you don't have that unless we start looking into private servers, and I think that's unfortunate.
Professor, I want to pose the question to you. Now that Arena is gone, you said that you learned a lot of your skills in Arena, being able to focus on combat and stuff like that. Don't you think that there will be a stronger equilibrium in adventure now? Now that people that are really skilled are going to be forced to play Arena, and people that aren't skilled are going to either have to, quote unquote, get good, or they're not going to have, or they're going to figure out a way around it. Do you think that the skill level coming from Arena players coming to adventure now will force people to have to learn more about how to play better? Or do you think it's going to be an even larger gap between the skill base?
So here's what I think we'll see over the next few months. You're going to see a flood of toxicity come into the game for a period of time. Those toxic people will soon tire of adventure mode and trying to find ships to do TDM, which is unfortunately what Arena degenerated to. And that's another group that I will welcome to see them go, because they helped ruin Arena. Arena was supposed to be a balanced between ship and hand-to-hand, and the TDMers totally missed the idea of what Arena was supposed to be. As far as overall balance, what I see missing is the ability to target getting better in shipmanship and hand-to-hand combat. And I think that gap will continue to get larger because there isn't an area to specifically focus on that. So those of us that honed our skills in cannonry and things like that will definitely have an advantage for a while. We saw it after the last update on the Black Rose, the influx of new players firing cannons from 2 miles away and wondering why they weren't hitting us. And then when we would hit them, when we got closer, you immediately got claims of cheating, hacking. And all that was just skill. So I don't know that's going to be the challenge is how to practice that. Be good at what you're good at and not frustrate those coming in who are new, who are flying an emissary flag and still can't understand why a Reaper would want to chase them down to get the flag.
Yeah, it's definitely. I can definitely see where you're going with that, and I do agree on most of the points. Before I jump into anything deeper, does anyone have any feelings on that, or anyone want to jump in? Where do you think the players or where do you think the skill is going to come from if players are not able to continue in on Arena? Was that an area where anyone else kind of using Arena as a way to kind of train up and get skills, or was everything learned from Adventure?
Yeah, I learned most of my skills at Adventure, but I perfected it in a way, like became better at it in Arena. Like Arena was useful, but you can't learn everything from Arena. Like certain skills you need to get from Adventure. I don't know specifics, but it's not all Arena where you get your skill from, in my opinion. Like
No, you're right. You're right, Max.
Combat you'll find mostly on Adventure, in my opinion.
But those Arena skills translated, don't you believe?
Yeah,
well
of course.
back in.
Of course they will, but it's not everything. And if everyone is going to be that skilled because of Arena, it's going to be a whole different game, I think.
Yeah, I think one of the troubles is that I don't know that the game's accuracy level is strong enough to be able to sustain that high level of play.
But don't just focus on the hand-to-hand. Think about ship battles and cannon skills and being able to maneuver a ship to advantage your shots and not accentuate the other ship's shots. Being able to tuck in behind a ship and things like that, and to practice those skills on a regular, intense basis.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
They will miss that, but like if every arena player is going to move over to adventure, they will eventually learn it, like on a slower pace, but they will learn it because they will get beaten and they will get up and start to sail again. They will just learn it from you guys.
I do also think it. Actually, sorry, Norwegian, go ahead.
It didn't really feel like Arena was turning it, or excuse me, it wasn't staying that way though with the ship and the hand-to-hand combat. A lot of it would be ships would just pull up to the island, raise their sails, and jump on the island and start doing team deathmatch on the island. There was just felt like there was no more ship combat going in there. It was just people jumping off and not neglecting that side of the match.
When they stopped developing, I saw the increase of TDMers, and that only sealed the deal in my mind for the end of Arena.
I still 100% believe that the move to having just one chest was a big problem. Having the diversity in Arena was probably my favorite aspect of it because it encouraged gameplay that was more attuned to adventure than just what Arena eventually became. You take away the opportunity to win through multiple chests, and having to learn how to chase down ships if need be, or how to learn how to dig chests and hide those. Being able to have people who are good at being able to find X marks the spots versus everyone just having to focus on PvP. That was an aspect that I think really was missed. But Morpheus, you're talking a lot in chat here. I want to get your thoughts on the actual audio here.
Yeah, so I did most of my I did enough Arena to get to 50 without a letter of recommendation, and I made it a point early on to do that. And I'm kind of sad now that I have to try to grind out, and some of those combinations and two of the last achievements to get to that 100 wins. I doubt I'll get it, but it is what it is. If I get some stuff out of it, I'm missing a few ship parts. I'm missing a couple of weapons, those, that triumphant stuff. I won't be mad, but it's, I made it a point to not buy any letter of recommendations because I felt like I would be cheating myself in the long run, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, when those came out, I vowed to my players I played with to never do that. And even though they did it, I didn't have any problem with it. But yeah, I felt like I would be cheating myself in the game if I played this game as much as I do to do that, because it's I have like 370 plus days played in the game, so it's crazy.
Yeah, I think the letters of recommendation was always another avenue for people. You still had to earn the doubloons to get those, and when doubloons were only earned at the time through events, you were trading the effort of engaging with the event to be able to then earn the reputation that you had missed out on because you wanted to engage with the event. Now that doubloons can just be earned, willy-nilly, it doesn't seem as powerful or as much of an equal trade as it used to be when those came out. I still did those because when I saw what was changing with Arena, when they moved it away from the multi-chest strategy, that was when I lost the passion for Arena. That was when I stopped thinking like, okay, this is something I'll enjoy doing, because I would have been one of the ones that really would have been on the whole, like, I want to go dig map or dig X's. I want to deal with people on the island. I want to be able to hide those and be able to store those away. And having that strategy removed was something that translated even better, I think, to adventure than what Arena eventually turned into. I want to read what Pad wrote because, again, he's listening in. He just can't speak, so I want to get his voice in here. So he wrote in the chat, I understand why they should have just shut off the progression to get to level 50. They haven't been developing and updating Arena, and because of that, the updates in Adventure have created more bugs in Arena. If they allow further level progression in Arena, then they will have a huge influx of players trying to level up before Arena goes completely, which would require development time and also increase support tickets raised, which all costs additional funding. And I think he brings up a really good point. Cutting things off now is it's kind of like, the stories when you see like in the war and in movies and whatnot, when they portray a situation where someone is hurt in war and they don't have the medical technology to be able to save a wound. So they cut off that limb to try and save the rest of the body. It's like getting a peg leg. The reason you get the peg leg is because you can't deal with the infection that will eventually set in, especially with pirates on ships and stuff. Professor says the word triage is exactly that. It is making that critical call to cut out something that is going to eventually cause a lot more issues than if it were to stay in. You want to get it fixed, and sometimes the quickest way to do that is to just cut out everything that is infected. And it's a sad thing to think that Arena got to that point. I kind of wish that the team still worked on Arena back when Arena was still the multi-chess thing. I remember I had a conversation with Jason Cross, who was the producer over at that team, and we were DMing, and I was telling him, these are some of the modes that I think would be really cool to see in Arena. I would love it if you guys could expand the modes that are available so that if people want to play Arena, it's not just the same mode every single time, but it's a little more varied. And eventually just Arena just kept getting scaled back and scaled back and scaled back to eventually to the point where the only thing that was worth doing was working on hand-to-hand combat. And that's when you started getting that team deathmatch mentality. Anyone have any thoughts on that as we kind of talk a little bit more about that? Professor, I know you're chatting in the chat. Why don't you jump in here?
I think you're right. The additional modes, just like you see in every other Arena style game, would have helped. When they cut back on the team, stopped even considering those types of developments, I think is part of why you saw that. You're right. The growth of that disease, that TDM disease, stifled it. And you're right. Taking it down to 2 chess, I think Hefe and I might have even talked with you about that when it happened, that they were cutting out an entire area of strategy in Arena when they did that. And it's sad. It was really sad to see, just like old Yeller, watching him, get rabies and turn rabid.
It's so sad. Yeah. Here's the thing. I know I want to kind of get this on record, because I've joked for a long time about how I've wanted Arena deleted. And a lot of it comes from my desire to have the teams that are working on Adventure being able to focus on Adventure once they had discontinued Arena development. And it always did feel like this thing that was constantly just kind of limping along, trying to take development time away from the thing that was working well, which was Adventure. But if you go back to even just like Guardian Con, I think of 2019, and the story of a father and daughter who were playing at the Arena event that was there, and they almost won. They just missed out. And one of the teams that was there that did win, they won those gold Xbox One or Xbox One X's, the gold plated ones, and they donated it to that father-daughter team. And those moments were amazing. It was so cool to see stories like that happen, see gamers enjoy it. And it's like, he could have easily have taken that Xbox and, had that gold plated Xbox, but he donated it to the father-daughter team who were just there to play the game and have fun. And that's what Arena was so cool for, is having those moments and stuff. And I know that Sea of Champions and NAL have done a great job really showcasing just how good pirates can be on the seas and stuff, and that doesn't get showcased nearly as much as it was. But I think with Arena not getting further development, it was one of those switches. It was either on or off, and if it was going to be off, then I wanted it to be revealed, or I wanted kind of like I'm trying to think of a good metaphor but basically I was hoping that they would do something where they could bring it back in the future in a way that still kind of held true to the nature of what Arena was those short sessions. And I think we're getting stuff like that in the future that does help kind of engage with PvP. But to pose the question to everyone in chat, Do you all feel like if we get private servers where custom servers are available, you can set up the settings that you want for them, give the tools available to the teams out there that want them? Do you think that things like the NAL and Sea of Champions could persist? They could live on in like private servers and stuff?
I'm not sure that having custom servers is really gonna fill that gap, because when you basically, without some sort of matchmaking system, you've got to try and source the players yourself, haven't you? So I don't know. I feel like it's a good idea, and it might help, certainly with those, some of the championship, some of the people that do that on Twitch streams and things like that. I'm sure they won't have a problem. But for the average person that just wants to jump in and do some some like arena style gameplay, I'm not convinced that will fill the gap, personally.
I could definitely see that. Yeah. Ahoy there, pirates. This is the ad for this episode, and I did want to let you know, if you wanted to avoid these and just get a regular filler, you can head over to the Patreon. There's a special feed just for patrons that get the ad-free version. If you want to keep listening, though, I can't say I blame you, because this week I want to let you know about Loot Crate and getting 15% off of most crates and crate subscriptions when you use the link and code RobotsRadio in the show notes. Also, you can head over to audiobooks.com, get your first 3 audiobooks for free, and that can include any 2 VIP books, or use the affiliate link for Green Man Gaming. If you're a PC gamer or you'd like to save money on games, it's one of the benefits of being a PC gamer. Head over to Green Man Gaming. You can get codes for Steam, Epic, any of the different stores that they have deals going on. They have deals going on all the time, and if you plan on buying there, please consider using our affiliate link. All of that goes straight to me through the network. Thank you all so much for everything that you do to support this podcast. It means the world to me, and I continue to try and improve the quality and the content for you. With that, pirates, let's get back to the show. You have a real good point about how more people that don't have a built-in community would have a hard time doing that. I think in that case, it would be up to the teams at Rare, the community teams, to be able to showcase where to find those communities to help with the people that are going to be missing on Arena. See, one of the questions I think, Norwegian, you brought up, do they have the resources to do custom servers if they're removing arenas? That's a really good question. I think they plan on doing that. I think they plan on having custom servers, because the custom servers can facilitate far more than just what Arena offers. For example, Dread Pirate Doug uses custom servers to be able to do the Race of Legends, things like that. There's community events that can happen with custom servers. So having a much more broad group of tools with like a custom server affords the opportunity for more people to be able to do interesting things with it, and would actually justify it better than if they were just to continue on with Arena just being a single mode that only certain people can really utilize, if that makes sense. Pad, you say depends on how customizable the private servers are, and I think they need to be fully customizable. I think if they're going to do custom servers, then they want to have free camera for people to control, so that they can get really good video of the actual things to be able to showcase like large ship battles, things like that. I think they definitely want to build in the tools to be able to turn off all the events, or only certain events, certain enemy types, certain ammo groups, certain food groups, things like that. Really kind of build out the tools the way that you would want to, create like a Minecraft server-esque style thing, or an Ark server style-esque thing, where you can really kind of go in and play with all of the little details and stuff like that. You say movable shroud. Yeah, 100%. I think the shroud should be something that they can actually move in as well too, just like in Arena.
I think that would be great for those event streams. I don't know what it does for the rest of us that aren't involved in those streams. I think at this point, that game mode is dead. It's just dead.
This is the acceptance part of your grief.
Well, yeah, and here's the last salty statement I'll make. I all of the love they put into the tavern and that island, I hope doesn't go away. I hope that they find some way to utilize it, memorialize it, have it be something people can see. Maybe find some way to bring it to life. Because right now it's just it's always been empty. It's been there in the real world, but not utilized. But those commendations, those weapons and things like that, I don't ever want to see those accessed in any other way.
So you bring up a couple of points that I would like to hear from you guys on. Let's talk a little bit about the Sea Dog Tavern. Anyone have any ideas on how they could do this? Because from what I've seen, it doesn't look like the Sea Dog Tavern is to scale with the actual like load in that you get for Arena. It seems like it is much smaller than what they normally do. So my idea was just to make that door a portal the same way that the Pirate Legend Tavern is, and have that arena lobby kind of moved somewhere in the world to be able to offer like you an opportunity to walk through a portal, and then it takes you into the tavern that would normally be Arena. There's no matchmaking, but at least you kind of walk in there. Anyone have any good ideas on how to be able to approach that?
I agree with you there. I think that I was looking at it the other day, was one of the first things me and Stipe were talking about the other day, saying that what's happening to it straight away was the first thing. So we just decided to sail over and have a bit of a look at it. And yeah, one of the first things we noticed was the actual arena lobby, the actual inside of the tavern feels like it's a lot bigger than the actual game has portrayed it on the outside. So yeah, I think the conclusion we came to was you'd have to put a portal, like a door that takes you inside. But I mean, with all these stories that are supposedly coming and mysteries, it would make a nice area for, we don't know what these stories are, but we presume from the trailer that we saw, not to go into it too much because I'm sure we will be later, but we saw Ramsey and we saw Bell and that talking in I think it was the Tavern of the Damned, but more scenes, more areas where they can have those cinematic sort of get-togethers are probably going to be something quite useful in the future. Just for more story and more lore, and places to go and parts of the story to fill in the gaps. It would make a good area, I think. So yeah, what you said there, just making it an area you can go in and then using it for that would probably be the most logical thing. For me.
Pat's got a good one. It would make Hefe happy. Move those portal doors that are cluttering up the map. Just have it be there.
That'd make me happy as well.
Regis, you had an idea in chat there. You want to share that with everyone?
Yeah. When I first saw that they were building the Sea Dogs Tavern in the adventure, I thought, oh, there's going to be an outpost or something along the lines of that. And they didn't. And I thought, well, now they're going to get rid of Arena, would it be more fitting to have the Sea Dog Tavern itself to be like the 8th outpost, if you will? Because we already have the shopkeepers, the shipwright, the supplies necessary, and the size of the whole thing is like probably as big as like Daggertooth for some of those larger islands in the outposts. I mean, so yeah, they could do that.
Anyone have any thoughts on that and want to jump in?
Could become the first port rather than an outpost, maybe.
Well, everyone that hit rank 5 is going to be getting those ship cosmetics from Arena. What if they made it so that anyone that had those ship cosmetics had the Sea Dog Tavern as an optional shipping point? Because all of those livery sets have a specific docking area over at the Sea Dog Tavern. If you run around to the different docks, they've all got little flags representing their colors. Last time I checked. What if you could choose what ship you wanted to from those arena sets, and it would spawn you in at that location at Arena?
That would be cool.
Yeah, I can't see a reason why that would give an unfair advantage to anybody. So yeah, that would be a cool idea.
It would only give a disadvantage because multiple people could spawn there.
That's true. That's true.
A new arena.
There is a large area around that spire where there's not a whole lot going on. We don't know necessarily if that's going to be the case forever. I know there's the one. What is the Shores of Plenty? fleets move to that area, but then we've got like the shrine what is it? The shrine that's just south of Shipwreck Bay that's close by, and then of course Reaper's hideout. But I mean, there is a fair amount of ocean in that area to be able to set up a interesting little area. Maybe there's an event that comes in that is an arena style area, but instead of it being a small area with just the shroud, what if it was just the fog and there was one area within the center of the map that is opened up from the fog, and anyone that's coming in close within maybe like 5 squares in perimeter has to deal with the fog. But once you get inside, that's where there's like a little mini arena mode. Do you guys want arena to elements to move to Sea of Thieves Adventure, or do you want it to just, Professor, I know you're already going to say it's dead, leave it dead. But anyone else feel like there's a potential with arena for any of that to move to adventure? Because I know I want the turn-in points to come to adventure.
Yeah, I think the Spire will just default DM play again.
It'll be interesting if they baited an outpost or made those turn-in points pop up like a sea post or something like that, where you can get different things.
Quite nice if they moved around just randomly, just slowly, or maybe if they just changed location. During the week.
Yeah, there's something like that in the art book. Yeah, the art book has traveling posts or boats that give things, or supposedly. Well, the art book has something in there like that. Some kind of merchant that goes around with different items.
So what if they had? Sorry, Morpheus.
Oh no, yeah, I was just saying that the art book has a lot of concepts that need to come to the game, not necessarily out of arena, but things that they could do for arena stuff to meld into the adventure without being arena per se.
So what do you guys think about the idea of the Reaper's Chest-esque style situation? Right now, shipwrecks are in and about the world all the time. The turn-in points for arena are just essentially fortified shipwrecks with people on them to be able to turn in those Sea Dog chests. And having a beacon style chest that appears is not uncommon for adventure. But what if they did bring in the Sea Dog chest to adventure, and the beacon would show up the same way that it does in arena, but the span of the distance that it takes for you to travel from where it spawns to say where one of these turn-in points is maybe like half of the actual map. Do you think that people would flock to that better than like a Reaper's Mark? Because the Reaper's Mark was intended as a way to try and incite PvP. I don't think that it ever really accomplished that. I don't think anyone ever looked at the Reaper's Mark flag and thought, oh yeah, I want to go take them on. Unless that was like their main goal. Not to say that it doesn't happen, but it doesn't happen nearly as much as I think I think the team wanted it to. But say a Sea Dog Tavern chest did show up with a beacon in the world, and somewhere across the world there was one of the red flared turn-in points, that is those shipwrecks, and you had to get the chest from where it spawned on a shipwreck to the actual turn-in point. Regis, actually, go ahead, jump in with your thought. You had a thought about that as well too.
Well, you mentioned how you want to bring the Sea Dog's chest into the arena, make it like, well, what if make much like how you could either turn in the Reaper chest to either the Tavern, to either Lorena or the Reaper's hideout, maybe make the Sea Dog's chest exclusively make the Sea Dog's Tavern the only way you can turn in the Sea Dog's chest once it appears in the world. Makes it more like, maybe like if somebody sees it on the map and somebody's like, delivering it there, like, okay, we'll go there, we'll try and fight for it, and hopefully turn it in before they do, while we're finding them.
I actually like that idea even better. I think having something where it's like the turn-in points with the red flare being where the Sea Dog chest is actually spawned, and then having to take it to the actual Sea Dog Tavern helps give a centralized point for people to know where to go if they want to try and intercept it. Professor, you had an idea?
Yeah.
Well, I just was thinking it's all nice ideas, but I don't know over the course of a short time that it just doesn't become like all these other events that we ignore. And then it kind of, to me, becomes just kind of a mockery of arena at that point. because it's just one ship going after it. Nobody cares. Just let them have it. And maybe you're right. Maybe we should just blow it up.
Professor is just like in denial at this point. I don't know how to help him.
I was gonna say.
No, I do see what you're talking about, though. There is a fair, like, anything that comes to adventure, I think will always have a hot minute where it's popular. Look at shrines, look at treasuries. Treasuries right now are used to farm Disney sticks. Shrines are only used for bottles that people need to work on the commendations. There's always going to be a problem that Sea of Thieves has, where I think the end goal of the game really does come down to either just farming gold or just PvPing. Events and stuff like that always kind of have their moment in the sun, but it does feel like there's always a time where people will eventually just start ignoring it. I think most people generally ignore a lot of the Reaper's chests, unless you guys can tell me otherwise.
If they're on our way to sinking a ship, we'll pick one up.
Yeah, I think everything has a lifespan, doesn't it? Like you say, what can you say? It's nothing. The novelty wears off, and then it becomes like a fort. Whereas people don't do the forts as much; they're waiting for the Fort of Fortune, or it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
So,
should we get copyright problems and just start playing the For Every Season song?
So, Professor or Morpheus, feel free to jump in. You got some feelings on the Reaper's chests.
Yeah, I picked them up like whoever said, like when they're on the way to do something. I don't battle ships. I'm terrible at PvP in this game, but I've gotten far enough to get a lot of things. So I'll pick them up when I see them on the way or something. If I need something out of a shipwreck and they're there, I won't go out of my way. I find that nobody tries to attack you anymore when you have one. So I started doing skeleton captains, and I've gotten 3 of the Reaper's bounty ones pop as a dig, so that's cool. But yeah, I won't go to like the Devil's Roar anymore. I only did that to get the accommodation. I went on my way to get a bunch of them. I got over 17,000 Bildrad doubloons that I'm waiting for to cash in on tomorrow. Hopefully the multiplier goes on that. So they're not really worth much to me. So I'm just waiting for tomorrow that's why I use my doubloons on that golden hour and that multiplier that's going to come at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Hopefully that works. It'll be interesting.
I think you're touching on a bigger problem at hand right now, and that's we have and I think this actually kind of speaks a little bit as to why people generally ignore the Reaper's chests, and is potentially the main issue that we're talking about as far as like why it wouldn't work to bring a Sea Dog Tavern chest or a Sea Dog chest into Adventure. And I think that comes back to the rewards for it. If the cosmetics for the base Sea Dog cosmetics were available, but you had to use those through a currency like silver, and the only way to get silver was this rare 3-hour spawn on a chest, would that be more incentivized? Like right now, nobody has a reason to do anything with doubloons. And I think that's part of the reason why not many people are really hunting down the opportunity to, no one turns in gifts for the doubloons, even though it's one of the easiest way to earn doubloons. Nobody really goes out of their way to get Reaper's chests and stuff like that. So I think the bigger issue here is we don't have anything to do with those currencies. And that's why we aren't, fussed with going out of our way to try and earn them. Unlike gold, where you have like the Dark Adventurer set is kind of the main dump for a lot of the big pools of gold that people had. With doubloons, I think if they introduced stuff that was limited to just doubloons again, that would maybe help kind of build up that ecosystem around it. What if they were to do something similar with Sea Dog chests, where it's based on silver? It is another currency, but the silver is specifically used to buy Sea Dog cosmetics that I would, for the safety of not starting an exclusivity war here, we'll say that they're a fresh new set of Sea Dog cosmetics.
That would be very interesting in the fact that they would make it'd make another currency that maybe has worth. Hopefully it'll keep to have worth, like village rat doubloons don't have any worth anymore. If you brought, so they would have to make sure that there was the currency exchange would be to bring out new cosmetics to buy and keep that up, because they don't do that with the village rat doubloons anymore. So yeah, only if they would able to do that particular thing with making new cosmetics and keeping up like they do have started with the ledger system now. So that's the only way I see it working.
Prof, if you could get a Sea Dog curse and a tattoo set through silver on a chest that spawns every 3 hours, you had to turn it into the tavern, and the turn-in shipwrecks in Arena were the points of spawn somewhere on the world, and it showed the beacon just like that. Would that be an interesting thing for you to want to jump with or get in with
for a time?
But
it's not sustainable.
Gotcha.
And you end up with the same problem we've already said with, the other chests. They're useful to play games with. Like I put in chat, I've snuck those Reaper's chests onto ships so I can keep an eye on them on the map, and things like that. But what am I going to do with more than 50,000 doubloons? I mean, less than 2% use doubloons. Maybe Rare will kill those too.
I'm always for consolidating currencies. I've never been a huge fan of adding currencies, which is why this is a weird conversation for me. But I do think that there's an opportunity for them if that was the case. Pad says another expensive ship set for doubloons. I'm very much in favor of that. Let's get a very cool set that's just built off of doubloons as a way to do that, and let people work on those. See if people start playing with gifts and Reaper's chests again.
I can't throw them off the ship anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Big Bad Pad says in chat, old boy set. I don't know if you want to take a reward for the dedicated Arena players and offer that as a way to purchase for people who, I mean, it's already bad enough I'm getting it and I didn't earn it the way most people earned it. So, I mean, I don't know if I'd want to offer that up as a way to purchase that set through doubloons.
Walk the plank, Patty.
So I've loved the raise the salt level. I've loved the conversation that we've had. We are kind of encroaching in on this episode's time limit for the recording and stuff. But as we kind of round things out, we didn't get a chance to really dive into the other stuff, but we got a roadmap. We're going to be getting new characters. We're going to be getting new forts. Anyone have any quick thoughts on the little 1 to 2 player mini forts that are coming?
I want more details on that. It's interesting. My excitement for it did lessen when I found out it was only going to it's really keyed for 1 or 2 players and not something larger.
I think they said it was scalable, didn't they?
Well, even then, it's not like a world type event. It's a ship event, kind of solo event thing. I'm gonna sail in there, lock the door, and the rest of the seas can do whatever.
I don't know how they are gonna keep the other players out if it's just a 2-player event. There will always be ways for people to ruin other people's fun.
Ruin what?
Yeah,
No.
Always.
Well,
ruining someone else's fun is my fun. So
I think you've got the similar mechanic that you've got with the mermaid shrines and stuff, where the treasure's locked in the mermaid. I kind of envision this kind of being the same way. You can't be bothered or messed with until the end when you choose to sail out, and at that point you're fair game again.
So to read a little bit about this is something that's coming in season 6 that I'll be diving into, but the little blurb that they put out said that there will be 6 sea forts appearing around the Sea of Thieves, each with a sea fort captain and their ghostly crew defending the loot inside. As for what brings these phantasmal fortifications from the Sea of the Damned into the land of the living, we're just going to have to play through the first batch of adventures to find out. Just kind of from my perspective, I love doing these kind of smaller events. We've seen with some of the forts that you can actually row a rowboat into the actual fort itself. So I think there's going to be a real interesting play here. The way people like to do the gold vaults, I think gold vaults were very, very successful. I would love to see how these work out, because there's more opportunity with these kind of scattered around the world for ships to be kind of lying in wait. There's a good way to hide a fort or hide a ship behind a fort, and there's not going to be any way to really tell if they're active or not. So I think this will help with potentially some of the toxicity that might be coming in from diehard PvPers into Adventure. I think Adventure players who are more PvE leaning may want to go and actually do some of these, as opposed to worrying about doing a gold vault and trying to hide their ship. I think they're really interesting. I think we're going to dive more into them in the future. But was there anything that came from the announcement from season or from the event for 2022 that anyone wanted to touch on?
I was looking at annoyingly, the last of the seasons they spoke about, which was season 9. I'm interested to see what the new social options for crews is.
Yeah, I can't think of what that would be. I'd be interested to see how that goes, but it is kind of cool to see that.
Players?
Sorry?
Maybe blacklisting players like trolls. Maybe you can blacklist them.
Ooh,
maybe
that would be interesting.
Captaincy update.
God, I wish that were true.
They did say that there was going to be Pirate Legend content coming soon, which I think we're all excited for. To speak to the arena thing, I think one thing that I did want to mention that was kind of a misunderstanding on my part was they are looking to bring versions of the Pirate Legend weapons that are in Arena to Adventure, so that anyone that has, from what I understand, and guys, feel free to jump in to correct me if I'm not getting this right, but anyone that has the original PvP weapons from Arena that were the Pirate Legend winning weapons, those will remain, and you can still have those. A different version of those is being worked on for Adventure specifically.
You can have your Fiesta or Coral Seas version of the Sea Dogs set.
I'm fine with that. I like I said, I loved Arena when it came out. I hate what it became. I'm glad that they're taking out to be able to focus on Adventure. In anyone that didn't get it, I'm sorry you didn't get it. It was out for 3 years. If you came to the game late and just found out about it, those are the people that I have sympathy for. Yeah. For the folks that haven't been playing the whole time.
Yeah, they're the people that, if they have just got into this with this sudden burst of Xbox Series S's taking off over Christmas, if Sea of Thieves is one of those games that they've just jumped into and said, "Oh, this is amazing," and they've discovered Arena, and now they've been met with this, I feel sorry for those people. But I fear a lot of the people, certainly the ones on Twitter that are complaining, saying they're at level 49. Yeah, no, sorry. You're not. If you're at level 49, you've already done all the hard work. You'd grind out that last level, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you've got time for that.
Yeah, well, you've still got time, but you'd lose that level 50 reward. So, yeah. But even so, yeah.
I will say that I jumped into Arena last night. I jumped on an open crew for Galleon, and that was miserable. Never.
I was about to say, but that was an experience.
Oh my god. The sheer lack of focus that people, there was like one other guy on the entire crew that had any semblance of how to actually play the game. So ditch that. I jumped on a duo sloop open crew, and the first one that I jumped into, the guy was like, he knew what to do. He was like in it. He was going for it. And we won, I think we won like 2 or 3 matches before we got second place after a bad thing. And then he left. And then I was like, all right, well, if he's gone, I'm not going to risk it. But yeah, most people generally just sail over to the fort that's on the map, and they just TDM, and there's maybe you and one other ship that go after the chests. And it's like, that's not fun. That's just yeah, it wasn't a fun.
I don't want to hear it. I got almost all of my Sea Dog stuff in random crews.
I'm not saying that it's not possible. I'm just saying it's painful, and much like rabies, much like old Yeller with rabies. It's time. It's time.
It isn't painful. It's different. You gotta change your perspective on those people. They're open-minded.
you know, whatever works for, you know, everyone has different pain thresholds. I'm not going to say, you know, one person's, you know, pain is another person's pleasure. It was not for me. I was having a decent enough time, but it was like the whole time just constant dealing with the shakes and adrenaline. And I'm like, yep, this is why I don't play this mode.
I like to document the open crew people in Arena. They're fascinating.
Well, folks, go ahead, Professor. What'd you have?
You just asked about just other things in the event.
Yeah.
Picked up maybe some more emphasis on factions. I don't know if you did.
Yeah. Well, we can spend a little time on that. We did find out that Belle, Legend of the Deep, is confirmed to be coming to Sea of Thieves. She's a character that has been in the works for a long time, with no indication that she would actually make it to the game. But now that we know that she's making it to the game, we have an opportunity to discover what the intent of her was outside of the original plan, which was to replace Ramses, or be the Ramses for the game when it was still in alpha and beta. And the idea of this is narrative is now going to be on a season by season basis as far as progressing the story. And part of that is being given to the community. The community will now have an opportunity to participate in different parts of the event to give us some semblance of agency, something that I'm pretty sure I talked about this forever ago too, where I wanted there to be different ways to impact the story, to be able to say like anything that we do in the game kind of moves the story forward and we have more agency with what we do with that. And I think it's in Regis, actually, you bring this up, it is kind of a choose your own adventure thing, but as a community based thing. And I think it's amazing. I think it's really, really great. I'm looking forward to next month when we get to sit back and kind of chat a little bit more. I think next month we may have more details on what that's going to look like, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on that as we get into that. So, but yeah, it's really cool that we're having that opportunity. I think that's exactly what I think the game needs. I think it needs to live in that world, and I think the Pirates living in that world has always been part of their design, is to try and bring our influence into that, you know, our theories and our thoughts and our feelings on it. But this just actually makes it more interesting. You guys are all saying some great stuff in chat. Why don't you jump in, start sharing some feelings?
Are we having a community day at the end of every month now as well?
No.
Yeah.
If you look at that 2022 roadmap, at the end of every one of those seasons, it says Community Day.
Yeah, it'll be. I hope it's not at the end of the season, because again, I'm really hating the idea that it's going to be at the end of the month when ledgers are the most vulnerable to sway.
I agree.
That would be stressful.
It is stressful.
It is.
I'm watching my
I
Reapers.
typed in chat that Belle could possibly pull me away from the Reapers. I think she's an awesome character, even though we know very little about her. So learning more of her lore and her story is going to be exciting. That's not to say I still won't be an evil, bloodthirsty pirate looking to sink ships. But it's intriguing.
If you could give me a couple words about Belle that would be the reason why she's pulling you away, could you describe those words?
You know, the full live statue that they've got there at Rare is just awesome. She is bad. Sorry.
I'll meow that out later. But yeah, no, I agree. I think it was Jeff Pegleg Perez who put on Twitter that she is the Lady Dimitrescu of Sea of Thieves now, and I'm glad to see that we're getting a female protagonist in the game that isn't just the kind of sit back and see how things play out the way Lorena worked out to be. I was actually kind of bummed that Lorena was kind of resolved to just being the new leader of the Bildrats. I think having Belle being a more active role in the world is going to be really cool, and I can't wait to see what's going to be going. Patty even says it. He says she's not sat in a tavern all the time. Exactly.
I mean, she is like the lady Dimitri, is it? Dimitris?
Dimitrescu.
Dimitrescu. Yeah, that's it. I couldn't. If it is, does that mean they're going to have to make the doors bigger? Because isn't she about 8 foot tall?
Well, she's pretty big on that buoy, so who knows? She that may be life size. Max, you had some thoughts? Jump in here.
Well, I think it's kind of funny. Lorena became leader and then follows up by doing absolutely nothing in game.
It's true. Just having her hang out is sometimes, sometimes having Duke the Dark Lord ousted is good enough.
I knew it. That's the only reason you like her.
What?
She's doing one thing. She's getting absolutely hammered at the outpost.
I mean, that's not a bad thing, is it?
I mean, she seems like a laugh to me. I'd go for a drink with her.
Living the dream life,
She knows how to cut a mango, that's for sure. All right, friends, thank you so much for jumping in with me. I'm gonna break down the list. I'm glad that we got a chance to dive into this. I didn't expect the whole episode to become an arena memoriam, but I guess we needed to have those eulogies out so that we could kind of put it to rest. Hefe, I know you've been quiet. I know you've been traveling during this time. Hopefully you've felt like your voice has been heard, but any parting words as we head out?
I'll just say that TDM says bye.
Oh yeah, that'll be nice. Morpheus, first time joining us, long time listener. Thank you for jumping in this week. It was really nice to hear your voice. Anything you want to share or say as we head out?
Oh yeah, thank you for letting me join, Captain Logan, and long live Arena. May it go in peace. May it never come back, except for eulogies and adventure.
Max, Mutinous Max, joining us again for the first time. Thanks for jumping in. It was great to have you. Hopefully you guys decide to come back next month as well too. So any parting words as we head out?
Yeah, I do. Thank you, Captain, and remember to thank your
Regis, jumping in as always. Thank you for joining us for the 1-year anniversary of the Gold Hoarder episodes. Any parting words?
Not much, really. Just live long, plunder, and stay true to yourself and all that stuff.
True as always. Professor, joining us again. Any parting words as we head out?
I'm at Professor_TN on Twitter. Post there on occasion. Salty old Sea Dog, and the proud owner of the rarest commendations and Sea Dogs sets and weapons on the seas.
Awesome. And Patty, whose audio for some reason isn't coming through this episode, I'm glad that you were able to stick around and get your voice in. I really don't know why you say that. I mean, I appreciate that you said that Mina is probably the best person on the world, and that you absolutely love spending time with her and think that she's a much better pirate than you. That's very humble of you to say. Xbox Mike, anything you want to say as far as parting words go?
No, it's thanks for having me. And just it was nice to see some new people in here in the Discord, in the Gold Hoarders this week. So it's good to see you all, guys. And well done, Logan, on the amount of Patreon subscribers you seem to have gained over the recent month or so. You've done really well there, mate. So congratulations.
I put it all to you guys. You guys are the ones that make the podcast popular. I just put the podcast out. The support has been amazing. So thank you. I think we just hit 40 this episode. So truly amazing. Love you guys all so much. Norwegian was holding a 3-month-old. That's adorable. Norwegian, if you're back, did you have any parting words you wanted to share with anyone?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the community and everything that you've done. This is a wonderful group. Love it.
Awesome. Well, we're glad that you were able to jump in with us and stuff, and make sure you're taking care of your newborn. Trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's going to do it, friends. Thank you all so much for jumping in. I think that'll do it. Yeah, I think we'll end it here. As always, I'm probably going to be spending most of tonight and tomorrow kind of working through the edits and stuff like that. But thank you all for joining me. It was really good to have some new voices in and get some thoughts and really kind of round out the arena. I think that was a really big shock for everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely excited to get some new voices in here. So. welcome, guys. Hope you guys keep coming back.
All right, pirates, that's going to do it for this episode of the Keelhauled podcast. Thank you to everyone for listening. If you have a moment, head over to iTunes. I would love to get some more reviews under the belt, just to share some thoughts and some feelings about the podcast. It makes a difference. And also, we are doing Spotify ratings now. So they are doing the 5-star rating over on Spotify. You get a chance if you're listening there. Thank you to anyone who does that. It means the world to me. It really does help just kind of, do that whole thing that social media doesn't always do. So hopefully more pirates can find the Keelhauled podcast and find more friends to sail with. So if you want to get a hold of me, there's plenty of ways to do so. Just head over to the show notes. The links are in there if you want. You can also look at Twitter and see me on at CAPT_LOGUN. You can always email the podcast at CAPTLOGUN@gmail.com. And pirates, I think that's going to do it. So thank you. I love you. And I look forward to sailing with you on the Sea of Thieves.
You've been listening to a Robots Radio podcast. Smart shows for interesting people. Check out all the shows at robotsradio.net.
Following is a public service announcement from the Starter Set Dungeons & Dragons podcast. This is your D&D campaign. This is the Starter Set podcast. You know how like poison frogs don't lick each other's backs?
So it's Howl's Moving Castle with a face.
Hey there, I'm Great Mandibles. Because one of the party speaks Abyssal. You're all going to die.
And then adventure falls into your lap. Plop.
This is your D&D campaign after listening to the Starter Set podcast. So join Sam and Ed every Friday on the Starter Set podcast for prime Dungeons & Dragons content. Any questions?
Hey, I'm Pylon.
And I'm Doc.
And if you've ever played an Elder Scrolls game, you've probably used UESP.net to help you find information about a quest, dive deeper into lore, or really learn anything about the Elder Scrolls.
But did you know we have a podcast too? Every week we bring you the latest in Elder Scrolls news, dig deeper into topics surrounding the game, and have a ton of fun while doing it.
You can find us on your favorite podcatcher by searching the unofficial Elder Scrolls podcast. Can't wait to see you all there.